I'm super excited to invite 10 business owners from all over the world to put the light on them because they are doing an amazing work behind the scenes. And I'm calling them forward to share their story and to tell us more about how did their adventure come up, in the hope that you are going to create your own or you are going to partner with us, because we are here for the long term and we are looking to hempify the planet. So this week it's really my pleasure to have Steve from Wandarra joining from Australia, and I'm looking forward to this conversation because I feel that we have a lot in common as two startups talking to each other, and also yeah, I'm just very excited. So Steve, just tell me, how did industrial hemp cross your life path?
Well, thank you, Beatrix. So, first of all, we're in the tropical part of Queensland, or Australia. So we're about 20 degrees south of the equator. So really, the environmental considerations around hemp and how we grow it and how we got started. So my background is actually manufacturing and engineering, and I was employed by the Queensland Fruit and Veggie Growers Association up here, looking at Agtech in the horticulture sector. So a lot of the stuff about how do we grow, how do we get better yields, how do we include increased productivity in the pack sheds, for example, when we pack our fruit and veg. And it was one of those chance conversations with my co-founder, Wade Hobson, who's Canadian-Australian. And Wade had just done this big technology transfer between Canada and China on cannabinoids or CBDs. And he said, listen, I've just been thinking, it's nice to meet you and it's nice to meet someone, that's in the industry. I'm just wondering why you don't, does anyone consider growing hemp around here? I think it'd go really well. Canada deregulated back in 1998. So, we're here in 2018, 2019, and we just deregulated in 2017, being Australia. And he said, I just think, we're very excited from a Canadian point of view about where the industry can go. So that was really my first introduction. So I went off and did some research, as one does, around how to grow it. It was really through Wade's connection. He was able to perhaps introduce me to many of the co-founders or the founders of what is now the modern industry in Canada. So we were able to talk to those founders who had very brave aspirations back in the late 1990s and 2000s to really take a wonderful crop and put a lot of pressure on them, around how to grow it and everything like that. So we sort of had a lot of, if you could say, experience and guidance around what not to do and what to do. And one of those key considerations in there, don't reinvent the wheel type of, catch cry was, go for an integrated hemp model. So that means we use the entire plant. It's no good because we're very, if you like, isolated, in North Queensland. We're a long way away from everything, if you like. So what we decided was this integrated hemp model. So as I say, we just we grow the plant, doing this now, the seed and the grain and the biomass being the herd and the fibre. So there's no waste. We just make sure every piece of that plant is used, and there are markets for every piece of the plant. So that's basically how we got started. And then, of course, that was 2019. And of course, then you need to have some capital. So, family and friends came to our rescue, I guess, and we got more sophisticated. We did some trial crops. So again, you must remember that a lot of the work's been done in the temperate climates. So Canada, China, Poland, France, have all been growing hemp for quite a few decades now. And we're 20 degrees south of the equator, so we're in a tropical zone. So therefore we had to check out our varieties. Some don't work and some did. So we're able to use the Queensland Government's Department of Agricultural research stations to work through some of the varietals that would grow here. Because it's no good going to the farmers and you have a crop failure. So we just worked through over about 12 months, which the varieties would work. And we're still running with those varieties now. So that's really how we got started, and some of the, I guess, the foundation thinking on what we could do. So
That's really interesting, and shows how we are kind of in the process throughout the decades reintroducing industrial hemp, because it was very common, and then there came the time when certain other industries, started taking over, like the nylon, the plastic, and the others, and then now it's a joint efforts of reintroducing it as a grassroots movement. If you want to call it that way. When you're growing hemp, you also it depends what you are growing it for. Then that can be a little bit of specification. So when you say that you grow it, would it be what are the key raw materials that you are targeting and at producing, and how are you imagining this chain like solidified? Because I understand that the foundation is there. What helps to kind of solidify it? This is the raw material. After the processing, we are selling those, and then these are the products we are creating, and then we are putting those on the market. How would that work?
Okay, that's a really good opportunity. So because there's so many uses for this plant, and you're right, we've locked it for 70 or 90 years. So think of all the innovation that's gone on in material sciences and food sciences, agriculture, fruit yields and everything. So what we decided, because it was sort of like a scattergun approach there for a little while, being sort of, okay, we could supply into the market, but there's really no market as such in Australia, or a very small market. So it's no good taking out everybody else, because we want everybody else to grow with us. So what we settled on was really the next 12 months are really just focused on improving our yields through Agtech, through using a lot of the technologies that's available to us.
Yeah.
Then the grain, as you know, is an oil seed. So that gives us oil and press cake, so protein.
Yeah.
So we've got a food factory here in Townsville, so we produce the oil, and a lot of that's going into cosmetics or potentially into skincare down here in Australia. So that's another oil base. So then you've got to think more globally what's going on there, because not a lot of people want to continue using petroleum and nor palm oil. So can hemp come into that frame? And then plant-based proteins, healthy eating for us all. So that's the grain side of things.
Yeah.
Now, this is really important. We're very lucky here because we're in the tropics, so therefore we can continually grow. So we're not stuck with one crop, in the temperate climates. You've got one shot at it, and then you've got to store your material for the next 8 months until you get another crop. So this is one part of our trial. So what we can do is continually grow. We can't continually grow grain at the moment, but that'll probably come. And that's because we grow along the Queensland coast, which is obviously humid and wet.
Yeah.
And we also push out to Western Queensland. So therefore, we can sort of get this whole these 4 microclimates. And Western Queensland in winter is very mimics Europe, if you like.
Yeah.
So we get cool nights, warm days, lots of sunshine. So segueing into that then, we've got to get going with this industry. So we've gone out and deliberately got 2 fantastic technologies about the biomass, or how to use the fibre in the herd.
Yeah.
The first one is sustainable packaging. So we all know we need to get rid of single-use plastics out of our food systems in particular. So we went to Germany, and we've come away with a very great relationship with a small company called Parpax.
Yes.
Now they use, so nothing's new in the world, it's a pulping system. So think of egg cartons. And what Parpax have been able to do is introduce hemp as a much better product than wood fibres. As we all know, it grows 90 days and you can keep growing it and growing it and growing it. You don't have to wait 20 years for a forest to mature. So that gives us, so again, it's a technology transfer. And the owners at Parpax are delighted because they want to, try and help save the world like the rest of us. So they're delighted to have their technology being brought into Australia. The second one is building products. So again, we all know, concrete and some of those big industries are the worst polluters of with emissions. So hemp, as your guests might be aware, hemp homes have been around for generations and centuries. So again, we've just followed that with a company called Hexcore out of Melbourne. down in Australia. So they do paneling, members, so all the internals of the building, if you like. And then you've got ISO Hemp, for example, out of Belgium, Hemp Blocks Australia here, who do the blocks. So instead of being concrete blocks, they are hemp blocks, and they give a better profile. So just summarising that, so growing the crop, continuing with our food and livestock product line, and then taking the biomass and then growing for a purpose. So working on a pull demand, so feeding the Parpax factory, and then feeding into the X-Corp factory, for the building industry. And they are two big industries globally, housing and packaging, that hemp can really fall into.
Yes, and this is, I understand, in progress. This is being built up as we talk.
It is. So we hope, so obviously in both cases, Parpax and Hexcore, they're mature factories. They've been doing this for a long time, a few years. So it's really a solution, a turnkey solution. So all the machinery is known, all the recipes, the product mix, to global standards, to food standards, all that is known. So hopefully by June, July next year, we would have our factories here in Townsville, and they would start to produce those products.
Nice, very nice. What I like about what you are saying is that there is more collaboration, happening. Like, it's already existing industries, and then entering into the market through those industries, because they have the market knowledge, they have the equipment, they have the processes ready, and then you are introducing hemp as a better solution, which is very, very it's the approach how I say needs to be, because I believe in collaboration, and also this is how we can transition into hemp, because hemp is not ready for a revolution to take over everything. The raw material is not there, the supply chain is not there, so this is a smart way of making it happen and scaling it as well faster. So I really love
Correct.
that.
And we've been very proactive in that global, through the Canadians, through the Europeans, really trying to work together, because they're Northern Hemisphere, we're Southern Hemisphere, and I think you're right, Beatrix, that and that's the conversations we've been had, is a lot of the bigger companies like the German car manufacturers, wind turbine blades, everyone's saying, okay, look, we understand now it's material sciences, it's a much superior product, but where's the volume? And we can only get to the volume if we work together globally.
Yes.
To make sure that the volume's there. So we're switching very quickly from a cottage sector into a mainstream supplier, because these companies are ready to go, and we just need to get our volumes right.
Yeah, brilliant. So what would you say your challenges are at this stage?
Look, it's really capital. It's just finding the capital because to go and invest $100 million, for example, into factories takes a lot of effort. We're lucky, and the other way of approaching this, if you don't have the capital, is to use everything in a modular format. So in those two examples I gave in the food factory, we don't need to go out and spending it immediately, $100 million and hope for the best. I think we can just work what we call manufacturing 101. So make sure we get the customers right. And of course, they're going to be switching from something else. So they want surety over that you can do this stuff. And then you can modulise. So you don't have to go and, you might have to do 1,000 tonne a year or something, and then just build more machines, bigger factories, and just keep going that way. So really, it's the capital. We could probably do a lot more around the sciences. I think the material sciences are outstanding. Hemp batteries, all the stuff that's perhaps a bit blue sky, but the more you delve into this, it's a wonderful plan, and it solves so many problems. So that'd be my two around the material sciences and CapEx.
Right. Yeah, it's I like the both options that you are mentioning, because capital, it comes with a certain awareness. The investors who are ready to invest in it, they invest in it because they understand it, they want to support it, and they see the profit in it. So environmental as well as financial concerns, but they're also good to have the modular option, the option B. What is it that we can do for people who are looking to have it, even if it's a smaller scale? So that's amazing, to learn about it and to see how you are building this up. I'm just can't wait to ask you the question: what's next for Wandarra? How you see it growing? Like how you see the next steps? We are soon ending 2024. So where do you see yourself a year from now?
Yeah. So end of 2025 we'd probably be around about 1,500 hectares of grow. So that would feed the food factory and Parpax and Hexcore. So what we'd be able to do there is then the market, so minimal viable product, getting into that point, and then that would deliver the confidence. We already have the confidence of the market. Then there are other things like probably the building industry's going to demand more, particularly in Australia. We have forest and concrete shortages. We've got 1.2 million homes to build, like most nations. So I think there's a couple of technology transfers we could do around the housing sector, and that's what we're trying to do. So we do have a 5 or 7 year plan, a rollout, if you like, because you can't do everything at once. And if you do try, you'll probably not get there and potentially go bust. So we're just trying to sequence everything through, so the market gets to be confident with this. But also it goes back to my main point there is working in with the global market and the Australian market here. If we do get a shortage, we've got these deals in Australia now. So if we do get a shortage of materials, we can pull back down to the southern states. Can you send us up a couple of truckloads of bales or something because we ran out of materials, and vice versa. I think that's the way we've got to approach it. But 2025 should be a great foundation year for us to then, and then it's just a simple matter of expanding. So as I say, everything's in modular form. So if I think of the Parpax line, we might have line 1 and line 2 installed, and then you just got to hit the targets and then install line 3, install line 4, and same as everything else. So modular is the way to go, and then just have that flexibility around your supply.
Yes. So what's left for me is to wish you a good year for 2025 and laying those foundations, solid foundations that you can build on, and you can grow and include the other lines and step by step, as you are saying, to keep growing and keep expanding. So I hope that it's really going to be a great year, productive, successful for Wandarra team. And thank you so much for joining this talk today. I really feel I learned a lot again from you, and I'm looking forward to see Wandarra growing. And for everyone, this is our last episode for the season. We are going to take 2 months break for December, January, and we are going to start the Hempy Talks again in February 2025. So thank you for being here, and wishing you all a wonderful holiday season, end of year celebrations, and lots of gratitude for that. Thank you.